Hi, this is 365801 and this is a reading wrap-up video for the month of February for the dates the 12th through to the 22nd. Now, I've decided to do this video just because I have read quite a lot and it will stop me from having to do an incredibly long video at the end of the month. So yeah, this is just kind of like an update. Hey, this is how much I read so far. Now, I was going to be pausing my Buzzword readathon and taking part in the Manga Love readathon, but I didn't really manage it so much. I think I only managed to do one read. So the first title that I want to talk about is actually the one title I read for the Manga Love readathon, and it is a Shae recommendation, so I kind of count the fact that that's all she said that we really needed to do to take part. So I kind of have taken part, I feel. Anyway, it's Nene, and this is a yen press title. It's a story by Shizuku Totono, and the art is by Daisuke Hagiwara, and the art is lovely. The art on the cover is really nice. There's some lovely colour inserts as well, not just at the beginning but also in the middle as well. There's some colour pages, and it's really lovely and sweet, and it's got things that I like traditional Japanese clothing and traditional Japanese houses, and it's got kind of yokai spirits kind of aspect to it as well, which I also enjoy, the kind of folklore aspect. So yeah, there's a few things that I like about it, and the art and the setting and the character design is certainly things I enjoy. As I said, it's a yen press title, and so they had actually, I think, released the chapters individually, and I was actually reading them through Kindle. I was downloading them and reading them as they were being released. So I never knew that this was actually published in a print volume, until I watched Shae's video recommending close proximity relationship recommendations, and so I was like, oh right, I can get that. And I did see it for a really good price. I think it was like £3 or maybe £4, maybe. So a really good deal. I got it on eBay. So yeah, Nene came. It's about a girl called Koyuki who is married off to a man who's more than 20 years older than her, which, you know, I'm like, yeesh. But the man that she is married off to, Shin, wears a mask the whole time, so she doesn't really know what he looks like, not properly. And Shin has a job to kind of convene with spirits, and that's why you get the supernatural element to it. The fact that he's wearing a kitsune mask is like very much of that folklore Japanese style anyway, so it's a nice one. Individual chapters, I read 5 of them, and there's 7 in the printed volume, so it was only the last 2 chapters that I hadn't read, so most of this was a reread for me, and it was just those last 2 chapters and the like author's notes as well. But it is a lovely one. The artwork is beautiful, and they're kind of really sweet cinnamon rolls. The 20-year age gap is yeah, not my favourite thing about it. And I don't think it necessarily needed to be, because the artwork doesn't really show him being 20 years older than her, and their interactions don't necessarily show like a 20-year gap. So I don't know why it had to be, he's 20 years older, here's a wee teen bride. It kind of, you know, makes me feel slightly uncomfortable in that respect. But if you had told me that Shin was, you know, 22 or 25, I'd be like, okay, cool, and I would still read this. So the whole 20-year thing that they make a bit of a big deal out of occasionally, I don't feel necessarily warrants it, except the fact that he is very much like, I'm 20 years older than her, so I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching her at all. But he gets told that by the father-in-law anyway, so yeah, overall, this was my Manga Love read. I only read this 1 volume, but it is one that Shae enjoys as well, so I'm happy that I was able to read this. So one of the other print titles that I read during this month was of course, what we'd all been waiting for, and that was Twittering Birds Never Fly Volume 4 by Yoneda Ko, along with the extra special first print run edition with the Distant Flame, which is a lovely little extra book as well that comes with it. I have to say, this obviously was very late. June Manga had issues getting it, but now that it has arrived, is in my possession. As soon as I got it, I was like, I have to open this and just read it straight away. And it's chunky. It's quite a thick volume. It feels like there's a lot of pages, and it is quite a dense story. We pick up where we left off just after sort of hotel room incident. I won't really go into it too much. And we get in this volume so much more sort of machinations and political wrangling, and a lot of action, a lot of violence, a lot of aggression. It's very suspenseful. It's just building and building and building. And there's, of course, the reason that it's building, because the climax... Sorry, excuse the pun. But the climax is what we, as the audience, and the characters have all been building towards. This tension in the story is not just within the actions and the characters, but also between the relationship of the two main leads, and that is, of course, Domiki and Yachiro. And of course it climaxes in the way that we've all been wanting it to, with a little bit of action. Just a little bit of action, just a little bit, just a little. Waiting for more, perhaps. So yes, we also get some nice full body shots, which is good. But I am very much looking forward to when they finally give us some more, because you know what, as soon as we've been given one more wee taste, we want more. We always want more. So I do have to say though, although it was late, I pre-ordered this back in October. It was supposed to, as we all know, come out in December, and I got it halfway through February. I think it was the 12th that it arrived, maybe the 12th or the 13th, something like that. 13th maybe. You know, late, but happy to get it and happy to finally have it. And I do have to say, the colour insert pages that we get, not only at the beginning, once again, you know, halfway through, we get lovely colour insert images as well. So nice, so beautiful. Yoneda Ko's artwork is just stunning. And it is quite nice, it's well put together. I'm quite happy with their production, because I was a bit concerned about it. It smells like freshly minted. It's very new. And the extra as well, obviously I have this in Japanese, so I have seen it, but the extras are cute and funny, and there's that little sort of like frisson of excitement from like a story from the past. Maybe it was like the first time they saw each other, and just lovely little things like that. So I'm very happy to have it. I really enjoyed it. This is definitely a 5-star read for me, because it's Yoneda Ko and it's Twittering Birds, so of course. Yeah, I mean, how many more years do we need to wait for the next one? This makes the money. Why are they not printing them all? I have more than one copy already. Just give it to us. Give it to us. Give us what we want. So yeah, this is a really good one. I love it so much. So one of the reasons that I did not read some of the titles that I had expected to for the Manga Love Readathon is because I got completely waylaid and distracted by something else. That is, I went back to Pian Pian. This is Hasten Young. I just really loved it. So I got the 10 free chapters to read with their 50 top 50 from 2020, and so you got the free 10 chapters, and then I got so into it that I did buy myself a couple of extra chapters last time. And then when I went back, I thought, I could just read the next one, because I've got another couple of free coins. And then those 2 free coins that I got was like the snowball that just grew and grew and grew. And I think I've read up to episode 37 or 38 now. Oh, like my little store, my little like nest egg of coins that I was keeping, just chung chung chung, chung. It just kept out. I kept on pressing next purchase. It was so bad, but I've just been enjoying it so much. And of course, now the 10 free chapters are gone, so I have to read from like chapter 11 or episode 11, and so I will have to now try and purchase the first 10 again. So I can just read the whole thing. It is on hiatus at the moment. It has finished, I think, like 48 episodes, something like that. So I've only got about 10 episodes left to read that I haven't read for Pian. But it's such a good series, and there was such development with the two main characters. So yeah, it's just such a good one. I cannot rate it high enough. I really just want to read the rest, but I'm gonna be like, no, as in when you get like free coins or extra coins, just the same as a Man of Virtue, just go with it when you get free coins, and then build up and just like binge when you've got a big chunk of them. So yeah, Pian is good, guys. It is good. The artwork is cute and lovely. It's just so much fun. Now, after I had read a few titles that were not on my Buzzword TBR, I did get very distracted and ended up reading quite a few other things because it was over the Valentine's Day weekend and there was some announcements and things like that. And so yes, I did get a bit distracted. One of the works that I got distracted by is actually something I've read before, and that is a Sachi Murakami work. Now, it goes by two names, and it depends on where you're buying it from. If you buy it from Renta, it's called Meow for Me, and if you buy it on Kindle, it's called That Boy is a Bottom, which is just a much funnier title when all said and done. I have only maybe like the sample version on the Kindle, and when I saw it sampled, I then ended up getting it on Renta because it ended up being there, and I had more of an account and extra money, coins, that kind of thing. So I ended up getting it back in like 2019. So I've read it before. It's a reread. I've actually done a review on it on the Renta site. So yeah, it's kind of a bit interesting to read the small sample from Kindle with a completely different translation. It's a completely different translation. So I might in the future do a video comparing the translation. I know that recently on Twitter there's been a whole hoo-ha about different translations. And I'm just saying this, if you go after translators, that's not cool. But if you have something to say about a translation, then that's your opinion on the translation. If you have something that you can compare it with, for example, another translation. And these are two official translations, so I might just do that. Sometimes, I get old versions of a manga that then has a license save, and so I have two copies. So I really want to actually sit and look at different translations and look how it affects the story. And in this one, it does kind of affect the story. The first and the main story, which I love, is about two friends, Toru and Anri, and they become friends in high school. Now, Toru is very much aware that he's gay. He's gay in high school. He's gay now. He's perfectly happy proclaiming that he's gay and that he's a bottom. But in the translation for This Boy is a Bottom, he calls himself as gay as a rainbow. And it just made me laugh so much because he was the one saying it. And he was like, this is who I am. And they didn't use that same kind of terminology. It wasn't as fun. It wasn't as fruity. It wasn't as playful. So the translation does change how you interact with the story. Anri, his friend, unfortunately is very homophobic. So at the start of the story, if that's something that you don't like, and also once again, the choice of language does affect and impact you as a reader. Do you use a slur or do you not use a slur? Do you just use a very inappropriate and offensive word rather than something that is actually really offensive. Your choice as the translator. So yes, tone and how you might interact and consume the media, really comes into play. However, in saying that, the story itself is great. I really love the two of them, and I'm really glad that I've got it, and I'm just going to reread it at some point as well, again, because I do like one particular aspect that we very rarely get in BL, and that is that they are reversible. There is no top and bottom with them. They are both, and they enjoy being both, and they enjoy giving and receiving, and they enjoy being with each other on a level playing field. And I just really like that. That it's not explicit, like you're this and I'm that, and this is just how it's going to be. I enjoy this, so can you give this to me? And I'm kind of in the mood for that just now. And there's so much dialogue, there's so much communication, and it's explicit because of that. Because they are like, I want this just now. Cool. Is it okay if we do that now? Yes. And they even have cute code words for themselves, which, one of them likes and one of them's not much of a fan of. That all kind of came into play with this work. There's two other stories, I think, and communication and a much more fluid sense of who they are within the relationship. There was not a sense of heteronormative gender roles, which is often what BL is just code for. But yeah, this one's nice. But I think there are issues with different translations and different ways of interacting with it. What I'd really love is to get a Japanese copy myself and just translate it myself. And how would I translate it? And then compare and contrast with two professionals. That would be fun. Anyway, I've been going on and on about this one. Meow for Me by Sachi Murakami. I read it. It was great. I love it. Now, my distractions over the Valentine weekend kind of continued on when Sublime was announcing their new licenses, but mainly because they had their digital sale. And even though I wasn't supposed to be spending money, yes, I toddled on over to the website and had a wee gander at what I had and what I didn't have, which is harder now with the new website layout. I much prefer the old one. Sorry guys, it was good. It was a visual thing. I could see what I had and what I didn't have, and now I have to actually manually search, and I've just got a list these are the titles you own, instead of just being I own everything, which I don't, so I have to go and check, especially if it's digital. Anyway, I ended up picking up Looking for the Perfect Fit by Noboru Takatsuki, and it's ridiculous. The artwork is fantastic, and it is such a great comedy, so good. So I will basically read you the basic premise. The story so far. Senri Kamiya is the president of a major appliances corporation. At a top secret masked orgy, yes, you heard that right, that attracts big names from the political and financial worlds, he meets a man with a wand that's magic. And by wand, he means his D. His secretary, Tachibana, procures the confidential guest list of the attendees, and Senri decides to go in search of the man with the magic wand. To do that, he develops a specialised suit to assist him. So that's basically what they have, this little synopsis of the story at the start of every single chapter, because it's obvious this was published in a monthly or bi-monthly manga magazine. So just in case you forgot what the story was, you can just read this one chapter, and it gives you this little so far in the story. And every time the story thus far is written, it's in a completely different manga style. So that one page is done in completely different manga style. And you look at the manga style and you're like, I kind of think this is this person's style that they're copying, or that person's style. So there's the old fancy shoujo with the big eyes and all that. And then there's the more gritty noir dramas and that kind of thing. It's very funny. It's very good. But Noboru Takatsuki's art style itself is lovely, very sexy, very nice detail, really good artwork. It's just very stupid. And I loved it. It was like the comedy nonsense I just needed. Such fluff and such... And you know exactly where it's going. You know who the guy with the magic wand is from like the first page. You know who he is. Oh, but it's so good. Basically, he uses his suit to try and track down. Each chapter is a new person he's trying to track down. And then as soon as he gets them, he's like, sleep with me. I need to have your wand inside me so I check that it's the right one and if it's magic. And it's never him. It's never the magic wand guy. So he has to like, oh, strike that name off the list. On to the next guy. It's just so funny. It's just so stupid. And that's the whole manga. It's just this guy getting dicked down everywhere. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. He's like, oh, like the first one when he finds the Yakuza guy, and then he pulls the Yakuza guy, like he has him all tied up, and he pulls down his pants to see it, and he's like, oh, genital beating. Well, that definitely wasn't on the guy who had the magic wand, but I'll have sex with you anyway. Just because you're there and it's up. I'd feel bad, I promised. I offered, so I feel like I should see it through. It's so stupid. Oh, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Now, because I had read Noboru Takatsuki's work, I was in a Noboru Takatsuki mood, and so I actually went back onto the website, and I had already purchased the other work by Noboru Takatsuki, and that is Okusans Daily Fantasies. And this is also episodic. It's also like short little chapters, full of comedy, full of sexual jokes, and full of nonsense. And their chibis are really cute as well, and there's a really cute little mini hedgehog pet, which is also super cute. So of course, and this Noboru Takatsuki gets it. She just gets it. It's so good. Anyway, Okusan is a guy who, a bit like Nekota Yonezo has the Moso Electo, that one, which never got an English translation. Got every other language, but not English. And it's about the fantasies. Now, this one really does, unlike that one, which kind of drops the whole premise after like the second chapter, this one continues. The main character, Yuzuru Oku, 26 years old, an office worker. He engages in a lot of fantasies to the point where it's the detriment of his job and his life in general. And he has this absolute huge crush on the cheetah shipping delivery guy, Riki Sudo, who is, nice looking, fills his delivery outfit uniform very nicely. Can I have your stamp here? Yes, you can. And it's just Okusan who orders loads and loads of stuff to get it delivered so that he can interact briefly with Sudo-san. And so that's for the first few chapters. But Okusan does have a pet. His name is Pocky. He's the wee hedgehog, and he's super cute. It's just full of sexual nonsense. Like, oh, you ordered sausages? Here, have a wee taste of my sausage. Like, seriously, that's the dialogue. It's so funny. And Okusan's just like, hee 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 hee. His chibi form is just the cutest. So sweet. Anyway, there's an introduction of another character, and that is the neighbour. And he works for a sex toy company, and so he ends up knowing that Okusan is his neighbour. Yokushima, that's his name, the neighbour. He knows that Okusan is the one who's been ordering the stuff, so he ends up popping around and being like, you ordered the, large size dildo. How did that work out for you? Any feedback? And he's like, what? It's just very funny. It's very silly. And once again, it's chapters. Nonsense. Full of the nonsense. But The artwork is great and the story is fun, and it's just fluff to while away the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed reading these 2 volumes, even though I wasn't supposed to, and it had nothing to do with either of the TBRs I was supposed to be reading in February, but definitely worth it. Now, I also read during this month a male romance novel, which is fairly new to me. That was Red, White and Royal Blue, a novel by Casey McQuiston, 2019 publication that was very, very popular on Goodreads. Lots of people have read it, and now I have 2. I have a separate video for this. I will put a link in the corner or in the description, because I talk at length about this book, so I thought I should just have a separate video. So if you're interested in what I have to say, go check out that video too. It's probably around 25 minutes long. Boy, can I talk, really. So yeah, I read that as well. Now, another title that I read that was digital was a Futekia title, that is The Omega Call. This is by Kobuchi, and it's not actually complete, and I didn't know that when I started reading it. I just thought, okay, I'll give it a go, and I thought, oh great, it's a nice long one, and it's an Omegaverse one, and I really like Omegaverse stories. They are like, whoa, sometimes they are really sweet and fluffy and light and very domestic, and there's children, and I love a gay story with children, love it, i.e. there's a family dynamic there. I really like that. Or it's like really tragic and full of angst, and it's like, oh, and sometimes I'm here for that as well. Like, there's a Omegaverse for any mood and any kind of occasion, and I like that it's so versatile in that way. Anyway, Kobuchi in the Futekia app. It's 4 spicy chilies. The second son in a family of alphas, Shu Iwashiro, expects to be just like his father and brother, but Shu's life and bright future shatter when he discovers he is an Omega. Pressured by his family to hide his true nature, Shu pretends to be a beta. Every day, Shu hides that he is an Omega from even his closest friend and alpha, Kazushi. But can Shu keep the facade up when his heat begins? Oh my god. Now, this was not the kind of cute, sweet, lovely, fluffy, family dynamic type one. This was the one that's full of angst. Oh my god. This hit me so hard. Oof. The art is fairly nice. It wasn't to my the style wasn't to my taste at first, but it grew on me as the story went. And Shu is just a sweetheart who needs to be protected at all cost. Oh my god, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Because of what happened to Shu. This is hard hitting. It's heavy, and they say dubious consent. It is, yes, dubious consent. It's the kind of Omegaverse story that people are like, oh, see, this is why I don't like Omegaverse. So this is for the Omegaverse fans, where you're looking for the, oh my god, this is awful, oh, kill me some more, cut me some more, make me hurt more. the masochistic readers of Omegaverse. This is for you. Oh my god. It was bad, and then you're like, okay, maybe this is gonna go somewhere. Oh, maybe it's gonna be, and then you're like, no, and then something else happens. You're like, no. I mean, it literally was just, please, can someone save this boy? And then again and again and again. It's just, it hurts. It hurts. And what's worse is this is not complete. The first volume has all 7 chapters. And the second volume only has 3 chapters, so there's 10 chapters in total. And the last time they updated this was October the 30th. Now, they had the first chapter for volume 2 August, and then they had 2 chapters in October, and then we haven't had a fourth one for volume 2. So chapter 11 has not yet been released. I don't know how you're all not writing strongly worded emails to Futekia to get this completed. Because I need my happy fluffy ending. I need it. And Shu needs it. Oh my god, Shu needs it. I literally had this like, I need to go into this story and I need to take this poor boy and I need to hide him away and keep him safe and wrap him up in cotton wool because, oh my god. Anyway, if you like Omegaverse and you like the really hurtful kind that hurts your heart to read, and I swear I was crying with this. I was crying. It got me. It was emotional. So the Omega Claw, I read that, and I'm now annoyingly waiting for the next chapter. So at this point in the week, I really felt like I should try to get back on track with my TBR and head on over to some Buzzword titles, but because I was already on Futekia, I thought, I should just, stick around and read something. And after having read the Omega Call, I knew I wanted something different. So even though I was so excited about Red Theatre being put on the library, and my girl Ogawa Chise is gonna have some beautiful artwork and stunningly gorgeous characters. She's also gonna be psychologically effed up, and it's probably not gonna be the best thing to read right after having read the Omega Call. So I was like, I should choose something else. I should do myself a favour. I should probably give myself something more fluffy. So I just chose randomly something else that had a colour in it without actually checking on what it was about. Did I read the synopsis? No. Did I just check how many chilies there were? Yes. Did I choose wisely? No, I did not. So I ended up reading Sneaky Red by Thanet, which has like a content warning right there at the start of the synopsis for dubious consent and violence. And did I pay any attention? No, I did not. So yeah, this is a 2-volume series, like I said, Thanet. So the art style is, I'm going to be honest, not to my taste. The extreme eyebrows, the extreme drawing of the eyes, the dark, heavy, thick lines. It's not really to my taste. It did kind of grow on me by the end of the story, so it's fine, you can get over it. But for me personally, it's not one that I took to straight away. It's 2 volumes, and I have to say, after reading like a volume and a bit, I think it was some point in the 2nd volume, I just put it down. I was like, enough's enough, I cannot deal with the stress of this relationship. Yeah, it was not great. So the basic premise is there's a guy called Misaki. He's fairly young, probably early 20s, and he ends up coming into work quite a bit with bruises, and he sometimes wears a mask, and people at work are a bit worried about him, and it turns out that this random guy is like beating him up whenever he sees him around the convenience store. This guy's name is Haru, or Kushiro, I think, at the start of the series, but then you get to know what his name is. So yeah, he's just random guys being beating him up because he walked past him once and went like that. But it turns out that Misaki's like, yeah, alright then, and just kind of goes along with it. And then Haru ends up noticing that he's turned on by being hit, and they end up having sex, or well, he ends up, I would say rape, but well, as they put down in Futekia, it was dubious consent. Oh dear, it's just harrowing. The whole thing is just not great. So it's this weird relationship between these two people who do not communicate in any way except through violence and sex. It's just violence and sex, their relationship. And yet there's a sort of underlying sense that maybe there could be something normal and okay and acceptable if only they would actually talk about stuff. They both have, like, there's a lot of internal dialogue and a lot of like unspoken things, whereas if they both would just talk about stuff, they would be fine. They could get over it. It is quite interesting that Misaki does get sexual gratification from violence and aggression towards him. So Haru ends up kind of giving that to him and being more aggressive and violent, and then in life when he gets stressed. And I've read stories like this before, and it's not always nice. But I know that the author thought it was like, I want them to have a happy ending at the end. I wonder how that's going to happen. It's like, it's your manga. Make it happen quick. So yeah, by the end, if you're looking for like me to say, it's going to be okay, you can make it. You can. But that's up to you if you want to. I kind of wish I hadn't. Like, I'm glad I read it, but I'm not too sure if Red Theatre would have been any better an experience. So yeah, Sneaky Red, it was tough. That was hard going as well. So I'm putting this one here at the end because technically I did read it at the end, but I also read it at the beginning of this time period. So I read it on the 12th when it came out, and I then read it on the 22nd when it came out. So it kind of bookends the reading that I did for this sort of 10-day period. And that is Love is an Illusion, of course, by Fargo. And we are slowly counting down. I think there's only a few more, maybe 3 episodes left, maybe, of the story. And the one that I read on the 12th, as I mentioned, because I was filming it on the 12th, the last wrap-up, exactly what I said needed to happen happened. That Cho-won needed to get a good railing from Kyung-soo, and Kyung-soo gave him a good railing, and Cho-won was fine. Which I just love, that Kyung-soo kind of just nails it when he says, God, these Omega and Alpha, they're just animals. Like, you just need to like view them in that way, like treat them in that way, and in a way that's kind of like how the Omega verse kind of works, and the betas just are kind of like normal people, but they're probably living much better lives than having to be dictated to by all of these pheromones, which of course is an issue. But with Cho-won, it's not so much of that, it's much more of his neuroses, his issues that he needs to deal with, and the boy just needs to feel loved and secure in his relationship. And you can see why, because he ended up marrying someone who didn't love him, not even a little bit, and that can mess with you, especially if you're in love with that person and they marry you and in no way show any real love or affection. So yeah, you can see why he does act out. He's been abused in a way by his family too, so poor Cho-won. I'm so happy that him and Kyung-soo are just getting along, and yeah, that was a nice chapter. If that's the end of their story, you know that Kyung-soo's just going to be like, right, keep an eye on him. If he looks like he's getting a bit tense and terse, just throw him down on the bed and give him a good rogering, and that'll see him right. Also, some therapy would be good, but there you go. Cho-won doesn't really like going to therapy, so that was the chapter on the 12th, and then the chapter on the 22nd. Oh my god, it was like boom, boom, boom. I was not expecting that Fargo would go down this route, but she went down this route. So I don't know how much I should say, because if you haven't read that already, you need to go and read it. But if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just like, oh no. Poor Hye-sung, he just he was so happy. Dojin and Hye-sung together, and the photos came out of their family, and it was like, oh well, people who know you will know it's you, but other than that, you know, oh, we didn't show your face. Yeah, this is the paparazzi, they're so awful. Anyway, with the photos coming out, and they were like, oh, it's fine, we'll just deal with it, because at least they're saying that Buell is cute, because Buell is cute. Buell is just the cutest. But you? He's so cute. Anyway, Hye-sung just was like, it's fine, we're happy together, it's okay. And you just at that moment go, oh, yay. And it's like the storm is just rolling in. Fargo just threw me for a loop, because I didn't expect that with such a short window of episodes or chapters to go, that the issue of Hyesung's family would be brought back up again. It just threw me. And they just looked so cute together at the beginning, and it was just like, oh. And then, it's like, just as soon as they went down, it's just the awful, awful father. Oh, he's just... Nothing that Fargo will do in the next chapters will redeem him in any way. And no, I'm going to be on Hyesung's side, 100%. So yeah, I'm excited about what's happening. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to the second. And in the same way, not looking forward to it, because I'm sad that it will be nearing the end. But yeah, Love and Illusion. It's so good. It's so good. And so near the end. So that was everything that I read in the period from the 12th to the 22nd. It seemed like an awful lot of digital. Only these two print physical copies, and everything else was either on Leshen or was a Sublime or Futekia. It just was awful lot of reading of things that were not part of the Buzzword readathon that I was giving myself for my TBR for the month, which means I still have not read those dual brand copies. So yeah, I probably should get on that, but I do want to read Red Theatre on Futekia and a few other titles on Futekia as well. So I know there's going to be a few more digital reads going on until the end of February, and then I've got my next Buzzword to look forward to as well, which I am really looking forward to. So yeah, this has been an awful lot read again, and hopefully not an absolutely monster long video, which it probably is. Anyway, if you've read any of these titles, I want to hear about it. Let me know. What do you think? Have you read Sneaky Red? Did you read the Omega Call? Oh my god, the Omega Call was just so... Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think of these titles if you've read them as well. Comments down below, that'd be good. Yeah, I make meow, BL, yaoi based videos. If you like that, consider subscribing and ring the bell to get notified when the next video is up. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up too. Remember, every day is a BL day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!